New Jerusalem, the sentient city of gemstones, the ultimate breakaway civilization with the ultimate creator boss. We're going to be taking a Pilgrim's Progress journey today, all the way to the heavenly city that Abraham longed for, the one not built by human hands. What a crazy thought to think that there actually is a breakaway civilization that not only created this place but monitors it, and one day we can actually access and go to this place. Aside from being cool to look at, you're going to find out how gemstones are technology. So let's take this adventure to the heavenly city. See you in a few. Gemstones are alive. These mini-computers, partly responsible for missing 411 portal phenomenon, and used in massive amounts of technology, including your smartphone. But the interesting thought I really want to take you on today is the thought of the New Jerusalem and how it's made of gemstones. 12 gemstones to be exact, the streets of gold. Now, thinking about this from a supercomputer technology standpoint, I'd like you to also consider the ephod that the Old Testament priests wore, and how those same 12 gemstones are the same 12 gemstones in the New Jerusalem. The priests wore the ephod and constantly worked with possible technology like the Ark of the Covenant. Even though the belief that God's Spirit was in there, it still seems to function like technology, superpowered by the Spirit of God. Now, gemstones with their healing properties, aside from being alive or supercomputing technology properties, and aside from being awesome to look at and hold, a thought emerged about what if I could collect all 12 gemstones that the New Jerusalem mentioned and that also the priests had. Would there be some sort of super activation or some sort of unique reaction between all 12? I still want to do that. Even if you look at God's throne in the scriptures, it's made of blue sapphire. You got this lapis lazuli blue gemstone tie-in. Now, whether you're talking about other crystals or gemstones that can offer protection, including EMF protection like shungite, or other gemstones including obsidian, citrine, amethyst, or other types of protection or properties or healing for the body even. Much more than hippie guru nonsense, I'd like you to also think about the 12 crystal skulls, or possibly even 13, and how they can function like a supercomputer, and how people have even felt being around them. What if they were all gathered together? Back to the missing 411 portal concept. When you think of these super mile-wide gemstone geode chunks beneath the earth on ley lines, well, there you go. Concluding with a thought about the New Jerusalem in light of the supercomputer gemstone understanding, this could be a super advanced, beyond type 6 civilization, beyond 12th dimension, with an entire city that's a smart city made up of these supremely pure, otherworldly gemstones, possibly even connected to these large geode chunks beneath the earth as some sort of computer interface. Thoughts could go on and on. Check out the fascinating world of gemstones. If you haven't heard, there's been a new phase of matter created called a time crystal. If that doesn't sound like some time travel stuff, I don't know what does. And it's being used in quantum computers. We're going to close with a really cool clip about anisotropic versus isotropic properties found in gemstones, specifically the 12 of the New Jerusalem.
Now, people have taken jewels and precious stones and cut a very thin slice for microscopic purposes, and then shone cross-polarized light through them to see what happens. Some jewels, in pure light, whatever their color to begin with, they may be red, blue, or green, turn into all the colors of the rainbow and the most fantastic patterns. Other precious stones, in pure light, lose all their color, just go black, look like a lump of coal dust. For example, diamonds in pure light are nothing. Garnets just lose everything.
Emeralds?
No, they keep it.
Oh, good.
There are other stones that are anisotropic and go into these beautiful colors. Now, here's the fascinating thing. The 12 precious stones that God uses to build the New Jerusalem are all anisotropic. In pure light, they are all far more beautiful. And you can just imagine from the picture we've seen on the screen how beautiful the New Jerusalem is going to be.
Funny how people have thought over the years, and when they hear that word God, they think of a generic guy sitting on a cloud not really doing anything, but how sophisticated the origin source civilization actually is. If you read all the things that are in heaven, and you really think about these matters, you'll understand what I'm talking about. We're going to do a quick dive into crystals and how they're using technology so you can understand more about heaven, New Jerusalem, and then ultimately God's throne, which is a huge sapphire chunk that you can sit on. We're going to end up there in a few. Keep progressing in your journey There's been a new phase of matter created called a time crystal. Let's look deeper into the implications.
Treat yourself.
Used in the quantum computing realm, time crystals are an unlimited source of self-sustaining energy, kind of like a metronome or a perpetual motion type of energy system. This reminds me of the Schrodinger's cat or the double slit experiment. Basically, two states of matter at once, also in the quantum realm. Speaking of the double slit light experiment, if you don't know what that is, you should check it out. But it's funny how much light keeps coming up lately, especially LED. Almost like we're getting put under a secret LED grid. I wonder if it could be connected to the LED hologram firmament or not. Whether you're talking about optogenetics, Project Bluebeam, MK Ultra streetlights, spying from light bulbs, Wi-Fi, direct energy weapons, or frequency emission like the patents I showed you, light and LED seems to be coming up so much lately. And all sorts of technology seemingly being used against us. Back to the two states of matter at once concept like Schrodinger's cat or the double slit experiment with light, quantum computing is measured in qubits, which is also the concept of being in two states of matter at once. Now what they've discovered about this new state of matter, the time crystal, and the ability to do that, to flux back and forth so quickly that it resembles this pattern, seems to break science, and there's actually a big debate about it. But that's the thing about science, it always updates, but the truth is always the truth. Now with time crystals and the quantum realm and things being in two states of matter at once, this is getting on the verge of getting outside of the time realm and the place where science and spirituality intersect. Could a super advanced quantum computing system based off of time crystals and other technology, either hidden or to be discovered, be used to create an actual time machine? Or take this understanding and think about a super advanced quantum computer system like Superman Returns, the memory crystals, underneath Antarctica. Quantum computers need to be super cold at all times to work. So think about these being powered by time crystals. Movies are just movies, but you're telling me this isn't what the mystery of Antarctica is all about? All the limited access, why there's a worldwide treaty that all nations agree on, that they don't bow down to the reptilian D-Wave Antichrist and the pyramid underneath Antarctica, Masonic crystal temple underneath the ice. That's not what Buzz Aldrin in 2013 had a heart attack about when he went to Antarctica and said we're all in danger, it is evil itself, in regards to something beneath the ice. It's not the first account like that either. Whether accounts of expeditions getting gunned down by fleets of UAPs, or you're talking about the end of the world, the ice wall, underground pyramids like AVP, Alien vs. Predator, the reasons why we can't explore there, or their secretive research stations, rumors of Hitler and the New Schwabenland escape, Russian divers finding super squid, organism 46B type organisms, shapeshifters, UFO war, Admiral Byrd, and his accounts. Maybe all the secrets of the world do tie into Antarctica in some way. Speaking of Superman's memory crystals, scientists have figured out how they work and how to store huge amounts of memory in them. Memory that lasts longer than a human lifetime in a small amount of crystal. Check it out. Tie everything we're talking in today to what we discussed in my last video about gemstones and the New Jerusalem understanding as a super smart city powered by gemstone computers, along with lots of other spiritual things we don't understand as well. We'll close with the thought of technology. As advanced as it is today, we need to be aware of Tower of Babel-like scenarios, and whether it's real spiritual laws, natural laws, or beings known as the Watchers, our relationship with technology seems to also indicate our proximity to world resets. We're going to keep investigating a lot more secrets. See you next time on Cold Brew Conspiracy. Don't get lost in any quantum time traps.
Prepare for a new view, ready for that new. This ain't the kind of thing that you're used to. We out making new rules, we don't care what you do. This ain't the kind of thing that you're used to. Gotta go if it's hindering the new you. This ain't the kind of thing that you're used to. Realize anything possible if you knew. If you could rule the world, what would you do? Prepare for
God's throne is worth at least mega billions, and you can sit on it. Also, is the firmament made of a special kind of sapphire? As you see here, God's throne is made of sapphire. Now check out this next verse. Is the firmament connected to God's throne? Look at the sapphire pavement beneath God's feet. Is the very top of the firmament the very bottom part of God's throne? The Bible does say the earth is his footstool. Also, were the original 10 commandments made from sapphire from this throne? Let's dive in. Check out the value of some of these sapphires found in Sri Lanka. Is there anything else special about sapphire? Aside from concepts like royalty, the Bible has tons of references to God's throne. Here's just a few. It's everything from a war chariot to the final boss's judgment seat to the ultimate place of comfort, a father's throne for you to sit on. The ultimate place of divine kingship and the throne of grace. But is there a technology aspect to this throne? You're thinking, why would there be technology in heaven? Good question, we'll get back to that. Aside from sapphire being remarkably hard, used in bulletproof glass, lasers, chemically resistant to radiation, thermal shock, high temperature, extreme stability, it has aerospace applications and optics, which I find very interesting, especially considering all the firmament tie-ins with the sapphire and God's throne. Think of him watching everything. Sapphire's use of LED lighting and ultra-high-speed circuits is also interesting in consideration of the firmament. Speaking of the firmament, the sapphire also has a tie-in with the sun god Apollo and witchcraft and the ability to open up the third eye, probably tying in originally to the thought of it being connected to God's throne. Nowadays, more of this occult technology-empowered witchcraft on the rise. Also, check out these amethyst chairs. Although not sapphire and the one picture not doing any justice to the shine, imagine sitting in a giant sapphire throne. Why technology in heaven? Yet, it's there. There's weapons in heaven. Angels have swords. Why would heaven need weapons? Yet, it's there. Heaven's an entire society. Also, are crystals demonic? No, but they can be. And definitely not always, and here's why. You clearly see them in God's throne. The New Jerusalem is clearly made up of gemstones. The priest's ephod were made of gemstones. Also, are the northern lights like New Jerusalem or an ephod gemstone peeking through? A sign from God, possibly? Also, there's the mysterious Urim and Thummim, which God used to communicate with them with. Crystals are being used in all sorts of quantum and other technologies, as I've covered. It can be used bad or good, but they're incredible. Also, the ephod and New Jerusalem connection and possibly birthstones might tie in the godly way. Jesus also gives us a new white stone upon arriving. But the ephod was specific stones, specific orders, rows, and columns. Rows and columns are also computer terminology, by the way, like a spreadsheet. I wonder if arranging all of them in a certain order with the real properties did anything special, especially with a gold-backed ephod plate, and gold's fascinating use in technology and reactions or non-reactions to other things. You find an interesting rabbit trail that the original 10 Commandments were possibly made of the sapphire from God's throne, also maybe the sky. This was confirmed in the Legend of the Jews, Volume 3 and 6. Also in the Torah and Numbers, God commanded blue tassels to be tied to the corners of their garments to remind them of the law specifically. Blue and the law tie-in. Also interesting is Israel's use of blue. Aside from prayer shawls, you see it on the flag. Blue seems to be tied in with God's law in the Bible. And also the ephod was commanded to be bound to the priest's garments by a blue thread, also reminding of the law. This tying again with blue and the law, possibly tying back to sapphire, the throne of God. Cool rabbit trail for you to check out. Also, Lucifer's stones, in Ezekiel 28, he had a semi-ephod, but it only had 9. He was missing an entire row. He was missing 3 gemstones. There's an entire secret message and hidden code there. Also, is Lucifer's ephod the basis of the Kabbalistic tree of life? Also, Lucifer wanted to sit on God's throne. In this verse from Isaiah, you can clearly see the plan to ascend to the throne. He even calls it my throne. This is like Tron programming gone bad. Think about current humanity and AI. Heaven and the spirit realm are full of gemstones and full of technology, period. And in 1 Peter, we're called living stones. And through this invitation of adoption, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you are, or what you've done, you can accept this invitation and also sit on God's throne with him. Draw near to the throne of grace and keep seeking truth at all cost. See you next time.
Yo, sit back, let me set it straight, get away, meditate till I levitate and think better days, can't hesitate when you heavyweight, time I dedicate, drop truth, let it emanate anyway, one time, that's all it takes in the sunshine for you to unblind with young eyes, now unwind, and sometimes you theorize and realize, see for the first time to realize, cut the noose loose, that's what truth do, this ain't the kind of thing you're used to, it's youth too, Dado, bravado, got jewels, Eldorado, y'all know, mile high, feeling Colorado, watch bravado, stand dripping down the bottle, prepare for the final showdown, desperado, we a tough act to follow, ain't no denying, that's just how it is when you ride with a lion.